Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Ujjwal Singh and this is Salesforce Administrator Series. So in today's video we will discuss about restriction rules. So before starting the video, if you like my content, please do hit the like button, share it with your friends and colleagues, and do not forget to subscribe my channels. So you can also have the overview of this playlist Salesforce Administrator where you can find lots of videos related to the Salesforce administrators. Similarly, in a last video, we have covered this what exactly a record type is. So you can have a look on this playlist. Okay, so let's switch back to our main topic, what exactly a restriction rule is. Okay, so restriction rules restricts what records user can see and enhance the security by allowing certain user to access only specified records. Okay, so if you have a requirement where you want specific records to be seen by only a specific sets of users, then you can use a restriction rules. Okay, so restriction rules basically allows us a more security features that a user can only have the access of a certain sets of the records only. Okay, so in that way, if you want to enhance your security or if you want to have a much more secure access rules, or then you can use this restriction rules on your objects. Okay, so restriction rules are currently only available for the custom objects, contracts, event, tasks, timesheets, and timesheet entries. Okay, so the main disadvantage about if you talk about restriction rules is we can't use restriction or box on a restriction rules on a standard objects, like we can't use on those leads, opportunities, and accounts. We can only use these restriction rules on a custom objects only. Okay, restriction rules are applied to these Salesforce features. We can use restriction rules on links, lookups, related lists, search, list views, records, reports, SOQLs, and SOSL. Okay, so let's understand how exactly this works and where we can use these restriction rules. Okay, so we also have the various level of access, like we can also restrict access of the records via OWD, or also via role hierarchy and sharing rules and a manual sharing. Okay, apart from this, if we have these level of the access, then still if you need a scenario where you want a certain sets of records to be seen for the certain sets of a user only, then you can use this restriction rules. Okay, so if you build a restriction rules for certain sets of a user, so you can see this part of this records is hidden for all those users and only able to see for the specific sets of user which we will uh, describes in a restriction rules. Okay, so it works like this. We have all the access of this records, but we hides the access of these part of the records to all the user, and this can be only seen to a specific sets of users. So if you talk about the use of these types of restriction rules, so it's mostly useful when we have this OWD as a parent child. So suppose we have a custom objects which whose access is defined based on the parent objects, like controlled by parent rules. Okay, and if you want to have a separate restriction rules on the child records apart from the parent one, then you can use this restriction rules on the child object so that you can have a different access rules both on parent and a child object. Okay, so let's switch to our org and see how we can create a restriction loop. Okay, so I will use the same application which I used in our previous videos, like car showroom, and I will use this car detail custom objects, and in this I will create a restriction rules. So let's go click on edit objects. Okay, so if you can see, we have already covered these topics like fields and relationship, page layouts, likely record page, compacts, these button links and actions in our all previous videos. So you can have a look to our Salesforce Administrator series where you can find all those videos related to these topics. Okay, so let's just to click on this restriction rules, and here you can see you can have an option to create a new rule. So let's create a new rule. So let's name the rule. So before starting the rule, let me show what exactly we built. Okay, so currently we have this object, car object, and here we have lots of records, and you can see we have this brand name Tata, Maruti Suzuki, Hyundai, then again Honda, Tata. Okay. Then I want one of the users to see only Tata records. Okay. So I don't want that user to see all those records. I only want that user can be able to see only records when the brand is Tata. Okay. So let's go here. Rule name. Let me add Tata rule something. Rule name. Okay. Description. Maybe I Okay, so I have a user happy. I want to show only records of Tata cars only. Okay, and make it is active. Then we need to select the user criteria. Okay, so in here we need to define a set of users or permission sets for which this rule will be active. So these sets of user can have the access to a specific records which we will define here. Okay, so first we need to define the user criteria. So here you can specify the user criteria, or you can also based on permission criteria. Okay. So I will define on based on the user criteria. So, so I will select the field as alias. Okay. So I will specify the alias name of one of the user, which is this. Okay. So this is one of the users. So I will allow this users to have the access of. Now here we have to define the select which records the specified user are allowed to see. Okay, so we need record types there. Let me choose brand name. So we have this object, and here we can find all the fields related to this custom object. So let's select brand name. So this is a pick list, and let me select data. Okay, no. So now I have created this restriction rule which says that this user can have the access of all those records only where the brand name is Tata. Okay, so this user will have only the access of all the records in which brand name is Tata. So let's save it. Now this record is active. We have created this records Tata rules. Okay. So now currently if I check the records, as I am a system admin, I have access to all those records. So now let's go to this user. Okay, so this is a user where I have specified this alias name, and now let's log in with this user. Okay, go to car details tabs and let's see all records. Now here you can see this user have only access to records where the brand is Tata. Okay, so he can access only those records where the brand is Tata. Apart from these records, he can't see another record. So in this way you can create a restriction rules to restrict the access of those records to particular sets of users. Okay. uh okay. Okay, so that's it in this video. See you in next video. Till then, take care and bye bye.